To change the subject entirely, I welcome to the studio Penny Reidy. Pick SA, pick a local, pick Penny. How are you, Penny?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me, Graeme. Always good to come in and talk to you about what's happening in South Australian horticulture and produce.
Yeah, look, we'll get on to that in a moment. It's more specifically the goods and bads and what of buying. But I was absolutely shocked to learn that fruit and veg consumption in Australia is declining. We're not eating as much of it as we once did.
No, it's interesting. I've just returned from the horticulture conference up in Brisbane. We have an annual conference up there, and it was a big topic of conversation. It's not just in Australia. It's actually a lot of the Western countries. We are declining on the amount of fresh fruit and vegetables we're consuming. We're certainly not getting our 5 and 2 a day, and there's a big resurgence to try and encourage people to do that. So the statistics don't look huge. It's a drop of 14 grams per person per day in vegetables and 12 grams per person per day in fruit. But if you multiply that by the number of Australians that we have living here, it's hundreds of thousands of kilos of fresh produce. So it's a concern that we need to be thinking about for our health and the health of the nation. It's also a concern around our industry as well, because you can imagine, the cost of input, the cost of growing produce is increasing, but if consumers are eating less of it, it's not a great scenario for the sustainability of our health and the sustainability of the industry. There's so many impacts that come from that. Like I said, it's not just Australians. It is happening in the UK and the US, etc. But I think, we really need to take stock of it and have a think about it.
So what's the theory? Why is it happening?
Well, I think there's a number of factors. One of the other things that came out of the conference is that our eating habits are formed in our first 5 years. So it's really quite important that, that children are setting themselves up with good healthy eating habits, that carers of children are giving them those habits, etc. So you will see there's been a fair bit of investment in influencing children. A program was just announced with the Wiggles, and they're going to be doing a lot more. So it's and I think it's convenience is a big thing as well. We're quite lazy, aren't we? We like convenience.
A fast food society, sadly.
So whilst we are seeing fresh produce decline, we are kind of seeing more increase on Uber Eats and restaurants and things like that. So people may be getting them by buying them through restaurants. However, the stats on the purchasing of fresh fruit and vegetables, there's also a bit of a misconception. Like, I can't believe how many people I talk to and they're like, oh, fresh fruit and vegetables expensive. Yeah. And I'm like, is it? Like, how much does it cost you to make a bowl of pumpkin soup that can feed the whole family? You can't tell me that that's going to cost you more than if you were to go buy a family meal at McDonald's, and it's got more nutrition. When you're eating, nutrition and fiber, you're filling yourself up, it lasts longer, you've got better nutritional value from it. So I think fresh produce can be expensive, but if you buy in season and, make it stretch as much as you certainly can, it can be very, very affordable and if not cheap, so.
And we know it's better for you.
Absolutely, it's better for us. And so, that's why people like me and other marketers around the country are doing everything that we can to inspire people to, try to use their fruit and vegetables in a different way and encourage that consumption. Just adding that one piece of vegetable back into your diet for the day. You'll hear me talk about things like, put a radish on your sandwich or put some onion in, or just a little something just to add a little bit more fruit and vegetable back into your diet.
Variety's the spice of life, as they say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, as you said, it's a double-edged sword. It's one thing to sort of say, well, fruit and veg, it's a bit expensive, and you rightly said, no, it's not. Habits change, but even just a minor diminution of the amount of fruit and veg you have has a ripple effect through to the man and woman on the land, the people who are producing that. So it's not good for the economy, and it's not good for your health. So the double-edged sword there is you're eating lesser quality food, and you're not putting back into the economy.
Yeah, so it's not only the horticulture industry, it's also the health industry that are going to see the impacts, right? Because, we're going to be having a lot more health issues if we're not getting proper produce into us. So it's a challenge. Like I said, I just went to the horticulture conference and lots of us were talking about it. And there's lots of people kind of doing everything that we can to try and encourage Australians to change that habit, because the statisticians have looked at it and said that if we keep going the way we are, far, by 2030, the reduction will be 10% less. So it's not a good start. It's not a good trend, and we need to buck the trend and do everything that we can to change that.
Well, there's plenty of good stuff out there. So let's talk about what is available at the moment, what's in season and what's good value.
Yeah, so it's South Australian citrus season. So there's plenty of varieties coming in at the moment. The Cara oranges have started, and this is a bit of a favourite. It doesn't last for too long this season. Some people confuse the Cara with a grapefruit because it does actually have a bit of a pinky flesh to it. So it's actually a seedless orange, and it is a bit sweeter. If you want to try a different orange variety, mix up the fruit basket, try the Cara oranges. And then also in citrus, there's plenty of lemons around. So quite a few of us are fighting colds at the moment. I know I've got a bit of a sniffle, so I've been trying to get some lemon water into me every morning, or you might be having some warm lemon and honey. So good to know that there's local ones around. And lots of mandarins at the moment. They're a great one to put into the kids' lunchbox, aren't they?
Yeah, there seems to be lots of varieties. How do you pick a good mandarin? Because sometimes they're sort of very soft and squishy. Is that a good sign?
Yeah, well, I mean, everyone has different preferences. I don't like the soft and squishy ones. A little bit firmer is probably better, and they're a bit easier to peel as well. And a good trick that a grower showed me is you pop your thumb down the middle of the mandarin and split it in half, and that's a great way to peel mandarins as well. So, but there's a few varieties around at the moment of them. So we should all be having at least one of them a week would be good.
If I can get back to oranges just for a second, because I love oranges and the different varieties. What would be the most popular orange variety?
I believe it's called a Washington. And the Washington Navel is quite heavily grown here in South Australia. But look, oranges, there's lots of different varieties coming out. Like I said, the Cara oranges. And then in about a month's time, we'll start to see the blood oranges as well. And they've had a bit of a resurgence, and people are enjoying the flavours that the blood orange brings as well. So, yeah, there's plenty around. But, the Washington Navel, I believe, is one that's growing quite a lot here in South Australia.
And lots of vitamin C.
Lots of vitamin C.
Now, pomegranates.
Yes, I have a love-hate relationship with pomegranates because I love them, but I hate peeling.
Bit of hard work.
Terrible. Yeah. It is a bit of hard work, but it is worthwhile. Lots of antioxidants in them, and which is actually really good for exercise performance and recovery. So instead of having a crazy can of something, you could have pomegranates. It's going to give you just some natural input there. And one thing that I've been trying is putting my pomegranates with things that you probably wouldn't normally do. I put them in my mushroom tacos the other day. I've had them with roast pumpkin before, but mushroom tacos and putting the pomegranate seeds in there was a good one. So try that one, Graeme.
All right, I will. Let's move on to some veg.
Some veg. I'm loving beetroot at the moment. There's some really good supplies of really good locally grown beetroots around at the moment. So they're really good to roast. We had a brand ambassador, Callum Hand, the other day doing some cooking for us, and he did a beetroot risotto, which I thought was a really interesting way to include beetroot into your diet. They're really good for digestive health, and so that's a great one to be adding in at the moment. The other thing that's really good, and it's interesting we've been talking about dogs this morning. I had dinner at a friend's house the other night, and they had two dogs, and she pulled out a couple of carrots, and she gave a carrot to her dogs.
Really? I have never seen a dog eat a carrot.
I don't think I've ever seen that either, but her two dogs eat carrots. She feeds them carrots all the time. So, so as well as dogs, there's also a bit of a viral salad that's trending at the moment. I've brought to you before the viral cucumber salad. Well, now there's a viral carrot salad that's doing the rounds on TikTok. I know you're not on TikTok, Graeme, but
funny that no.
But so basically, what people are doing making ribbons out of the carrots, and then adding Asian spices to them and eating them like very similar to the cucumber salad, if you're familiar with that one. So I think it's a great way. And I heard a phrase the other day. It's about eating your skincare. So carrots are really good for skincare. So I love that. So don't forget about just eating carrots for whatever. If you're after good skincare,
what did they used to say about carrots? Was it good for your eyesight?
Good for your eyesight, but apparently it's good for your skin as well. So get onto the viral ribbon carrot salad. It's very simple. You just basically ribbon your carrot. It's a good way to use them up as well. Yeah. Add a bit of soy sauce, some sesame oil, some sesame seeds, some everything bagel seasoning, tasting, and you've got an amazing tasting salad. So
Brilliant.
grown here in South Australia in good supply at the moment.
Globe artichokes. What do you use those for?
Well, they're interesting. You either love them and use them a lot or you don't. I can't say I personally buy them and stock them at home all the time, but I have been told they're in really good supply at the moment. So normally you steam them and then the leaves kind of fall off of them. And an interesting fun fact, if you want to know how to pick a fresh globe artichoke, apparently when you squeeze them, the leaves need to squeak.
Squeak.
So if you give them a bit of a squeeze, they'll give you a little bit of a squeak back, and you know that they're fresh and ready to go. So if you're after your globe artichokes, I hope fruit and veg stores all around are squeaking with globe artichokes this week.
One thing that cauliflower soup, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it is soup season, isn't it? I made some broccoli soup on the weekend. I love that. It lasted me a few days. Very filling. But cauliflower's really good for soup as well. It's really easy, and I like cauliflower and broccoli soup probably better than pumpkin, just for the ease of cutting them up. You know?
No, you can't beat a good pumpkin. I'm a pumpkin soup man. I love it.
But it's definitely a lot harder to chop up a pumpkin than what it is to chop up a cauliflower or broccoli, right? So it's a very easy meal. And, you know, I bought a cauliflower for maybe $4 the other day, so you can't tell me that that's expensive. A $4 cauliflower, $1 worth of vegetable stock and a bit of cream, like for under $5.
Yeah, and you get a couple of meals out of it or more.
Absolutely.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Now, just before you go, Penny, Retailer of the Year, how's that going?
Yeah, so we've got a 10-week shop and win campaign running in all the Pick a Local, Pick SA stores at the moment. And at the end of it, we have Retailer of the Year. So every time you enter that competition, you're actually voting for your local store. It's a national campaign. There's over 500 independent fruit and veg stores across Australia that are involved. Now, Adelaide Fresh Morphett Vale up south has actually won the Top Gon. They have won National Retailer of the Year 3 out of the 4 last years. So I think they're giving it a good fight again this year. We would love to see a South Australian store win as well. So if you're in a local fruit and veg shop and you see the Shop and Win campaign, please enter over the next couple of weeks, because every time you do, it's a vote for a South Australian store. And I would love to come in here next time and tell you that a South Australian store has won that competition.
Good on you, Penny. Thanks for dropping by.
Thanks for having me.
Penny Reidy, look for the red Pick a Local, Pick SA. The sign in your local fruit and veg store. You know you're supporting a South Australian business supporting SA growers. And the final word goes to Jane, who says, roasted Thai pumpkin soup, yum, my favourite.